Hey y'all, welcome to Unboxing Discovery by G. My name is Gina and my kitties are about. Bonnie's on the bed, Callie's down there on the floor looking for crumbs by where I feed her. So Friday, August 26th is National Dog Day. And I thought, what a perfect day to tell you about my other job. So some of you know my day job is actually a dog groomer. Well, I call it my day job, but really it's my Monday, Friday, and Saturday job. I started grooming dogs, gosh, probably somewhere between 10 and 15 years ago. My husband was working at a printing press, as printing presses did when we started going more to online and less actual printed flyers and things like that. It went bankrupt. So we found ourselves, he was our complete income. And so I was like, oh, I got to get a job. So, I was looking around. I'm a farm girl, born and raised. I've always been around animals. I've always had dogs, always had cats. So I thought, well, maybe I can go in there and clean kennels, something like that. So I started going around to a few of the dog groomers. I walked in this one place and, here I was. I had on black dress pants, a nice kind of paisley pink floral button up shirt, and I had a black jacket, which I took off for that one. And I walked in and the lady who owned the place was there and their main groomer was there. Well, she told me she knew she liked me as soon as she saw that I didn't park right by the door. I parked out in the parking lot because, it's only respectful to let actual paying customers park closer to the door. So anyway, I went in and they were like, yeah, we're looking for a groomer. We'll train you. Callie. What it was is pretty much I was like an independent contractor and I was giving them a percentage of what I was making for like a hair salon, like the beauticians do. They have to pay a percentage to have their chair in the salon. So that's what I was doing. And a percentage for them teaching me. And I was in a trial period. So I went in and I watched her and I wrote things down. And she stood up, I stood up, and, had to learn all the blades and all the different cuts. And I did that for, 6 or so months, learning everything. It was a lot of hands-on work. She showed me, I watched for a couple days, and then there was a clipper in my hand. And I was doing basic shave downs, like you would do to a big dog where you're just taking all the hair off. And, eventually you worked your way into teddy bear faces and poodle cuts with shirts and pom-poms and things like that. And so it's really how I got started grooming dogs. I worked there for about 3 years. A lot of stuff happened. I won't go into all that. But decided it was time to go. And I didn't work for a little while. I still groomed my sister's dogs at my house or at their house. Went to work for another groom place after a while. And they were more like a doggy daycare. So, you got to be in the daycare with the animals, playing with them, kind of teaching them. There was the kennel. You would take care of the kennel. And you had the groom area where you took. So it's a little bit of everything. I worked there for several years, I can't remember, until my health made me stop. I ended up started having, they called them temporal lobe seizures, and that's seizures in the front of your brain. Pretty much I would just check out. It wasn't like I was falling to the floor and having spasms. I would just not be there anymore. And you still actually continue to do what you're doing when you're having those. So it's very dangerous driving. And I could be in the store and I would still be walking along in the store, but I was not at all aware of what was going on around me and had no memory of what happened during that. So one day I was in there, I had a dog on my table. I was helping to teach another girl. I was actually in the process of starting a class and I was going to start teaching other people to groom out of that facility. And so, lessons plans and paperwork and things like that. I was going whole nine all the way in, like I always do with everything. And so I'm standing here. She takes the dog back to go get bathed and immediately comes right back and says, this dog has fleas. Little dog, little bitty, teeny tiny dog, full grown, but teeny tiny teacup poodle. What do I do? And I'm like, well, you've got to call the owner, give him a cab star, and you got to bathe him in Dawn. She's like, well, I've already bathed the dog. And I'm like, no, you just walked out of the room. She's like, no, I've already given the dog a full bath. So I had no recollection of her the whole time. I mean, it takes a little time to give a dog a full bath. A good, at the very least, even if it was a quick bath, 10 minutes. I had no recollection of that time. And I had a dog on my table. And so I went into full-blown panic mode. What if that dog had fallen off my table and hurt itself? What if I had cut the dog? I had clippers and scissors and all that stuff. And I apparently was going through the motions and not aware of any of it. So I finally said, I can't do this. I cannot risk the animals. I can't work. Until we get this under control, I just won't do it. And so I had to go on seizure medicine. I had to get all these tests. They diagnosed me with so many different things, narcolepsy and sleep apnea and, gastrointestinal issues, gastroparesis. I can't even think of all the things. I've been diagnosed with fibromyalgia for most of my life. Lupus, Raynaud's disease, restless leg. I mean, just everything under the sun. It's like everything was hitting me. Well, about after 3 years of that, I think it was around 3 years, the seizures stopped. I wasn't having them anymore, but I was still super, super scared to groom. I would still do my sister's dogs, but only my sister's dogs. And they had to sit there with me while I was grooming the dogs. They had to be present and at the table with me, or I wouldn't do it because I was so scared that something was going to happen. I really and truly believe that all the seizures, all my medical issues were medicine induced because they just kept throwing medicine at me and kept throwing medicine at me. At one point in time, I had me on weekly infusions of like vitamins and I don't even know what all. It was like the special cocktail they made trying to treat the lupus and fibro and all that stuff. So I went to a different doctor. I started going to an internal medicine doctor, and I know this was supposed to be about dog grooming, but really it all is. It's just all into one. And I said, I've got a medicine problem. They've diagnosed me, they've given me too much. Let's get me off of it. So we got down to the minimum amount we could possibly get to. I still have to take my mood stabilizers because, depression, all that stuff, I'm prone to it. So, I do take stuff like that. I still take the restless leg medicine, the gabapentin. I have to take sleep medicines. And I do have like Valium for emergency cases is what I call it. If I just am in too much of a panic. Because I have panic attacks. What did they call it? Anxiety disorder. I don't even remember. So, lots of issues. But I was still grooming my sister's dogs. Well, I'm going to church. I'm starting to get out a little more because I'm agoraphobic too. I get scared in crowds, scared in public, don't like to leave my house. Working on that, doing really good. So I'm going to church, and I'm a dog groomer, I groom my sister's dogs and make YouTube videos. I don't remember if I'm making YouTube videos at that point in time. I may have just been getting started. Well, one of the ladies at church said, will you groom my dog? I was like, well, yeah, sure, I'll groom your dog. Really cute little golden doodle. Oh my goodness. So sweet too. She likes to sing along with her daddy when he sings his gospel. I just love it. He's showed me videos too. It's very cute. So from there, she said, well, can I refer you to my friend? So, okay, well, you can. So, ends up, we knew each other. The other friend, she actually, her daughter and my niece went to swim together. So, she was friends with my sister, which I thought was such a small world kind of thing. Did her daughter for a while. My neighbors, hey, can I give your number to my friend? Well, yeah, okay. And it just kind of built from there. And it's been a word of mouth business. I don't advertise and say, hey, come here if you want to get your dog groomed. But, I just let people bring their dogs to my house. And then if they tell somebody, then I might get a new client. And if not, I don't really stress over it. All the money from the grooming really goes into the channel. But that's how I got started with grooming. And so I groom out of my house. When I was first starting, I went ahead and bought all of my own stuff. I wanted my own clippers, my own blades, my own scissors, my own table, hydraulic table, which I don't even use, it's out in the shed. But I wanted everything to be mine. I'm very particular about that stuff. And I took it to, the other shop when I worked there too. I was like, I've got a case, I'm carrying my stuff with it, I'm going to use my stuff. And, that way I won't be responsible for breaking anybody else's stuff. But so I had all the stuff, I had it at home, and it was just easy for me. I connect with dogs a lot better than I connect with people, believe it or not. In person, I tend to collapse into myself. On the videos, I can be myself. I can pretend like I'm talking to my best friend, and really a lot of y'all, including my real best friend, I'm so close to you through the channel and gotten to know a lot of you and, pray for you and think about you on a regular basis. You may not know it, but I do. So where was I going with that? I got sidetracked with the fact that I love all y'all. Yeah, so it's just easier for me to talk to a camera than it is to talk to a person. But like the first person I told you about, the one from my church, she should tell you the difference in me since I started this channel is amazing. I've come out so much more. I'm so much more confident, and that's all thanks to y'all. Thanks to y'all. But that's how I got started with grooming. I think I've told you about how I got started with YouTube. It was just kind of a whim thing. And then I just really, like everything else I do, when I get started at it, I just really throw myself, heart, body, and soul into it. And, just do my best to keep up with the world because, man, I have trouble with that. And, it's not always easy juggling the two. I'm trying to get more of a schedule to where I only groom on certain days, and then I can film on the days in between and do other things like house cleaning, things like that. Rest when need be. Recover from crazy weeks out of town or weekends where people come in town, like the last 2 weeks. I hope this answered your questions. If you have any more questions, you're more than welcome to ask. I will do my best to tell you everything I can. Don't forget to give your little furry friends, especially the doggies, a little extra love today since it is National Dog Day. Appreciate your dogs. Know that they deserve as much respect as we do. They are living, breathing souls, and they are kids. They really are kids. I also would encourage you to adopt. Go to shelters, places like that, instead of going to places who might get their dogs from puppy mills or, big time breeders where the dogs are not individually loved. That's my own personal opinion. I'm a big rescue type person. I've only bought one dog ever from a breeder. It didn't work out well. He was even AKC registered. He was a husky, and he ended up having a lot of issues, and the further you went back in his tree, you could see that he was actually inbred. And I just like a mutt. I mean, I'm a mutt. Why not everybody? Why not my animals? All my cats are rescues. That's just what I'm passionate about. If you don't want a new pet, consider giving some money to a shelter, to a rescue, see if you can donate some of your time to some of these rescues. They always need people to help them out. I've even been known to go to the local shelters and offer my groom services to them. They're not always the best dogs to groom, but I've done it. I probably should do it more. Thank you so much, y'all, for spending a little time with me, listening to me ramble, and above and beyond being interested in me and my life. I'm thinking about doing some groom videos, but I'm very particular about putting people's animals on camera. So I like to have their full, almost like written consent, because if anything ever happened to somebody's dog because I put them on camera, it's the same way with kids. I would be devastated. I don't think anything would ever happen. I don't think, I'm pretty particular about not saying what town I live in and exactly where I'm at, not showing my address, things like that. But you never know in this world today, which is sad. But, what can you do but pray about it? I think I've run out of things to say. Like I said, if you have any more questions about me, I would be glad to make videos to answer them and let you know all about me and my kitties and my life and, what my husband wants me to say about him and all that good stuff. Y'all, thank you so very much for spending part of your day with me. I hope the rest of it is wonderful, and God bless.